Graphs, what are graphs? We've looked at some before, okay? It's a simple idea, right? You start with something like this, okay? We call this equation, we call it like a rule. It's a rule that binds together two numbers, some y's and some x's, right? And you can draw up a table of values, but what it'll look like if you draw up a whole bunch of these values, put them together, and it looks like this. Okay, so this part down here, this is the graph of this particular rule or equation. Okay, so you've got, and this is actually worth writing down, you've got a rule or equation, right? And this is all algebra stuff, it's algebraic. And it has this equivalent in visual terms. This is the graph. Now, because they're so closely related, you can use them in relation to each other. You can solve things about this from this. For instance, I know that this value in here is 1. I get that from up here. You can go in the other direction as well. You can use things about this to solve things here, and I'm going to show you how that works over the next couple of weeks. Okay. Now, here's the important the metaphor that I have in my head. Okay. There's this formal algebraic thing, and then there's a picture. That's what it looks like. Okay. In my head, the metaphor I compare this to is that a rule or equation, it's a little bit like a sheet of music. Now, I can't read music. I should be able to, because I did like preliminary grade piano, so once upon a time it was all in there, okay? Yeah, but I'll get onto that in a second. Music, right? It's got like all these symbols on it, and it's got numbers even, blah, 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 right? But what that's intended to do is you're meant to hear it, right? You play the music. So you perceive it through that sort of sense, okay? Well, going from this to the actual music itself, right? That's making this formal, like written thing, it's making it audible, okay? Well, this is making this formal written thing into something visible, right, okay? So it's the same kind of transition. That's what we're doing. We're trying to be able to sense it through perceive it through the senses that we have, okay? So where we're going to start is with the graphs that you already know, namely the linear ones, right? Oops, sorry. Okay, so that's why, as Sapir actually asked, we're going to talk a little bit about gradient, talk about intercepts, all those kinds of things, okay? Just to keep you in the picture, where we're going to go from there is that linear graphs are not the only kind. Graphs don't have to be straight lines. There are lots of other ones. There are things called parabolas. They're an interesting shape we will explore. Yeah, there are other shapes called exponential graphs. We'll talk about those later on. When there are circles, we're not going to deal with them under this topic yet, though. Okay. The last one after this, hold on, parabolas, exponential. Oh yeah, hyperbolas. Right? So they all have cool, funky names. They are all different kinds of shapes, and we're going to explore the algebra and then how it leads to a picture, right? Just like, here's the way I think about it, right? See, you got these different kinds of pictures. It's a little bit like thinking, well, if you have different genres of music, right? You got your classical, you got your pop, you got your dubstep, on and on and on and on, and they all sound different. Well, these are like how they look different off of different kinds of rules and equations, different algebra. Question?
Is the exponential thing along with growth and decay?
Yes, that's exactly right. And we will look at that in due time. Okay, next week is actually when we get to it.